Wisteria, energy, twister.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Encyclopedia of Faeries. The fair folk, the good people, whatever you want to actually call them. They're known by many names. We're still on the D's. We're now on Dokkalfer. The Dokkalfer are referenced in few places in Norse mythology. The name itself means dark elves. And Snorri describes them as living in the earth. Grimm calls them genii obscuri, that's spirits of the dark, and suggests a connection between them and the spirits of the dead, even going as far to place them living in hell, the heathen Hades. That was what Grimm said in 1888. Grimm also questions whether the Dokkalfer should be separated from the Nair, or whether the dusky elves are souls of the dead, men, possibly. There is some strong evidence that the Dokkalfer were the mound dead or male ancestors, and the Dokkalfar are sometimes called mount elves. It's not certain, however, that it may be the sort of that some Dokkalfar are human dead, and others may not be. They may be, spirits in their own right. The next is Dawn. Dawn is a complicated figure in Irish mythology, who has roles as one of the invaders of Ireland in the mystic cycle, as god of the dead, and as a fairy king. Folklore tells us that Tesh Duin is a place where the dead go, but not necessarily their final destination. Some believe that the House of Dawn is where the dead go before moving on to the other world. In the 8th to 10th centuries, Tesh Duin was seen as an assembly place of the dead, and a place that the dead both went to and left from. Besides Tesh Duin, present day, by the way, it's Bulrock in County Cork. Dawn is also connected to Knockferrin in County Limerick and Dumacha in County Clare. The Dawn of Knockferrin has strong aspects of the Lord of your city, being called Don Fahien, and said to kidnap people into his hill who had been thought to have died. What? Like many other Irish deities beliefs in Don, it seems to have survived conversation in Christianity by shifting him from God to good neighbour, albeit a very powerful one. In County Clare, Don was Donna Duimchi, Don of the Doon, and was believed to ride out as a fairy horseman with his army. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? It's the first time I've heard of that one, actually. I've not heard that one before. It's unusual for me. I've heard of many of them, but not that one. Now we are on the Dullahan. This is a headless spirit, which may be a ghost or otherwise may be a fairy. Not really sure. It could be either. I mean, it's a dark, puny creature of some sort, but the older Irish Dublosh or Leish dark warrior could be something similar. The Dullahan appears as an headless phantom riding a horse or in a coach. Sometimes the horses are also headless. He carries his head, which appears to be rotting, and has enormous eyes, and he tosses his head around like a ball. His horse, or usually horses or horse, with one or plural, it depends. They're usually black with flaming red eyes. Humans will stop to look at Dullahan with, those who stop to look at him will have their eyes, I don't want to say this, but it's horrible. They'll have their eyes taken out by a whip. So he will whip their eyes and literally whip out their eyes. And those who open their door out of curiosity at the sound of his passage will be drenched in blood. Okay, at least if I'm drenched in blood, I can actually wash it off. But I don't want my eyes whipping out, guys. No way. The Dullahan is considered an omen of death that will whip your eyes out. Okay, if you look at him, so don't do that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Whip your eyes out. Can you imagine that? Oh my days. What? What? Whip your eyes out. I'm going to be thinking about that for a while now. And that's the letter D's. Sorry, guys, excuse me. Of the fairies. Yeah, so don't look at that one or you'll have no eyes. Thank you for listening and many blessings.
Wisteria. Energy. Twister.